Very good morning to you. Welcome to the thought for the day for today. It's another Friday. These weeks, the days seem to be very long, but the weeks pass very quickly. We're in Romans 12, verse 9, where Paul becomes very practical with little succinct phrases that are so important and so sweeping and extreme, actually, in the things that he says. We could preach a sermon on every one of these, I'm sure. We're just going to take the first three here in verse 9 of chapter 12. Let love be genuine. Hate what is evil. Hold fast to what is good. Love must be genuine. That we must not do what we do to express love in a forced way, or just because we know it's the right thing to do. It needs to be genuine. And if it's not genuine, there's an easy remedy to that. It's to pray for the person we want to help and we want to express love to. And it's to ask the Lord to change our hearts so that our love is genuine. Our love needs to be genuine. Hate what is evil. Hold fast to what is good. These are extreme verbs. They're very strong verbs. Hate, not dislike or avoid, but hate. Run from evil. Hate it. Avoid it. And hold fast to that which is good. It reminds me very strongly of that verse in Isaiah 5:20, which says, woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Those people who change what is expressly good and call it evil. And there are people in our society who are doing just that. Many of them. Think about the view there is out at the moment that our history is full of evil. You know, there's a huge sort of wave of people who are saying that people who did great things for our country shouldn't be honoured because there are things in their lives that don't match up to the political correctness of today. And one has to say, well, of course it wouldn't match up. They lived in a different era. They had different standards in the society in which they lived. And no one is perfect. But to throw out and to rewrite history because we think the things that were... I mean, I've heard people and seen documentaries and things that talk about the British Empire as if it was evil. I remember watching a documentary about India, and I think it must have surprised them because they ended up interviewing people who remembered days under the rule of the British, and they didn't say a thing wrong about it. And yet the documentary had started out trying to say that British rule in India was evil, and that everyone suffered under it, and it was a terrible thing. There are people rewriting history. They're calling good things that were done evil, and they're calling evil things that were done good. And the scripture says, woe to those who call evil good and good evil. And there are a lot of people in our society today who, out of fear of a minority, even change the wording of documents and things. I hate writing anywhere that Terry is my partner. He's not my partner, he's my husband. And I'm his wife. It's an attempt to make acceptable those who live outside of marriage, who live together outside of marriage, and to recognise it as equally valid. Well, the scripture doesn't see that as equally valid. Without the commitment that comes with marriage, A partnership can very easily be dissolved. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil. Let us think about how has our society changed our thinking. And this is why we have to keep going back to the Bible, because the standards of the Bible, you think right back in the beginning of the Old Testament, there was great punishment on nations for the way they lived their lives in relation one to another. It was every man for himself. Whatever a man wanted, he just took from someone else. There was a great deal of evil done. And God has set a standard in his word, and we should cling to those standards, the principles of the word, even when it costs us something. When it costs us, when we find ourselves disagreeing, people disagreeing with us, you know. Even the church, many parts of the church have accepted same-sex ministers living with people of their own sex or married to people of their own sex. Different denominations have accepted these things. I'm quite clear. For me, that is completely wrong. I would leave a church that accepted a leadership that was same-sex behaviour. We have to be clear what is right and what is wrong, and what is acceptable to God and what is not acceptable to God. We have to live an upright life. We have to hate what is evil and hold fast to what is good. And let our love be genuine. The fact that we hate the evil does not mean that we hate the person who is behaving in that way. We hate the evil. So that's a challenge to us. The next verse says, love one another with brotherly affection. Outdo one another in showing honour. We should honour each other. And we look forward to the day when we meet each other again and we can express that honour. But we should show honour to the other person that we're with, always. And not putting ourselves first, not thinking of ourselves more highly than we should. Lots of things to think about. Have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.